for another drive on this beautiful sunny day. My name's Ollie, and here's your loaf of daily bread. Today's loaf comes to us from a regular contributor to this channel, a man by the name of Viktor Frankl. And he writes, "Suddenly I saw myself standing on the platform of a well-lit, warm and pleasant lecture room. In front of me sat an attentive audience on comfortable, upholstered seats. I was giving a lecture on the psychology of the concentration camp. All that oppressed me at that moment became objective, seen and described from the remote viewpoint of science. By this method, I succeeded somehow in rising above the situation, above the sufferings of the moment, and I observed them as if they were already of the past." I wanted to share this quote with you today because it is very special to me. It is dear to my heart. In this quote, I found the inspiration for a spiritual or psychological practice that I use on a regular basis. But first, let me provide you with a little bit of context surrounding this quote. What Viktor Frankl is describing here is something that he did himself when he was in the very midst of horrible conditions in the concentration camps of Nazi Germany. Amidst these conditions, he found a way to alleviate his suffering, to view his conditions and circumstances in a detached and objective way. And the way that he did this was by pretending that he was not in a concentration camp, but rather in a lecture hall, giving a presentation on the topic of the psychology of concentration camp inmates. And in this way, he was able to separate himself from his surroundings and even from his own personal condition. He was able to view himself, his circumstances, and the people around him objectively in a detached manner. So when I first read this passage, I had this little light bulb moment, because it was immediately apparent to me that this could be a very powerful practice for myself. Anytime I'm going through something, anytime I'm struggling, anytime I'm suffering, I can pretend that I'm not me. I can pretend that I'm a scientist and that I'm actually studying the problem, the situation, or the circumstance that is causing me to suffer from an objective and a detached point of view. I guess it's a little bit of role playing, but sometimes that's what you have to do in order to be able to see yourself and see your life situation in an objective way. You have to pretend to be not you and then proceed to study yourself in this way. Like a scientist who is studying some kind of newly discovered species of animals or some kind of new bacteria that's never been found before. You have to approach yourself with this kind of open-minded wonder, like, wow, look at this guy. He's getting so angry right now. Let's analyze that. Let's look at why this guy is getting so angry and what's causing him to be angry. What are some of the underlying assumptions that he is harboring in his heart that are causing him to react in this way? I question myself like this. I question myself as if I am not myself, the same way Viktor Frankl imagined himself to be lecturing on the topic of concentration camps and the psychology of its inmates. So for me, this passage offers a potential tool for detachment and objectivity. It's hard to know yourself because you're so close to the topic at hand. You need separation. You need distance. And this little bit of role playing for me is exactly the exercise that I need to create that distance. So I thought I would share it with you. Hopefully it will serve you as well as it served me, and obviously as well as it served Viktor Frankl. If not, I'll do my best to bring you something of value next time. and I hope that you'll tune in. Until then, live well, my friends.